Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hello. How is everyone? Welcome to our Monday market outlook, where we prep you for the week, talk about the big moves that are happening right now, and kind of what to expect for the week ahead. If everything looks good, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if my sound, my video is looking good. Say hello. Say good morning, chat. Let me know that you're on, paying attention. English, I know you were on earlier. Say hello. Let me know everything's working well. How many of you caught this big move drop down in the NASDAQ? I know that I did. If you had been streaming with us in the past, I'll show you the strategy that I've been using to trade NASDAQ. And it was a nice move. Anyone catch that move? Give me a W if you caught that move in the NASDAQ. Pretty simple. I can't say that I predicted the announcement that came out that we'll talk about in a second. But as soon as it came out, first of all, we were in the trade before it came out. And then later on, after it came out and got the retrace, I joined the move as well. And I'll show you that. So it looks like Max was the only one that caught the move. Anybody else? I'll share it with you in just a minute, handsome. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Mahal. All right. Let me go ahead and share with you my screen. Give me 1 second to do that. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. My strategy is extraordinarily simple. Let me see if I can share. There we go. Why is this not adding to the screen? Add to stage. There we go. Okay, you got it? You got the trade too, Gilberto? Wonderful. All right, my strategy for trading NASDAQ has been very simple. I've shared this with you many times. The only thing I've been kind of tweaking is really whether I want this 65 SMA in there or not. Honestly, I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure how helpful it is. But at the crux of it, the strategy is simply looking for the 8 EMA to cross below the 21 EMA on a closing basis on a 5-minute chart. But timing is very important. I like to trade this at the Asia Open, which for those of you that trade Forex with me, you'll know that my definition of the Asia Open is 8 p.m. New York time. Everyone has a different definition of the opens, but mine is 8 p.m. New York time. And then I also like to look for this before the official New York equity market open. So the quote unquote official New York equity market open, as you all know, is 9:30 a.m. So I like to look for the setup starting at 6:30 a.m. to about right before US data, which is 8:30 a.m. That's when, and if there's no US data, then of course it's not that big of a deal, but that is when I really like, to look for the setup. So we had the 8 crossing below the 21 right around, this didn't happen until 7:55. This is the candle here that had the cross. By the way, do you like white background or you like dark background? Let me know if you like white background or dark background. Which ones do you like more? Type in white or dark. What do you guys like more, white or dark? No one's typing in?
Dark.
White. All right. I only care about the audience, Boris, not you. But it's most of you say white. Okay, so let's go back to the white. Maybe that should tell you something, Boris, that most of them prefer white. Okay, so anyway, we got the 8 is the blue, the black is the 21. We have the 8 crossing below the 21. This is when the cross happens. This is when, I'm trying to move my arrow here. This is the first candle before the first candle when the 821 crosses. So what I like to do is usually like to sell as soon as I get the signal for the 821 crossing below. I like to sell, and usually I like to target the session highs. Now, the New York session high, this is the previous day's or Sunday's New York session high. So that, was the first target. And then below there, I kind of like let my trade run using my trailing stops. Now, the 65 is kind of a filter. Like if the 821 cross happens to the downside and the price is also below the 65, generally speaking, it's a higher accuracy. It is definitely a higher accuracy trade. But the only problem is sometimes having the 65 on there prevents you from taking other good trades. But it does, when it does, you have the perfect alignment where you have the 821 crossing and it's below the 65. It's, pretty much the A plus trade that I like to look for. So here we have the cross. I sold here. And then once we dropped below the New York high and we retraced here, we showed that there was hesitation. Then boom, we had the second move lower. I sold again and, got a couple $100 on this move. Now, of course, what triggered this, right? I can't say to you that I predicted it, although I did know, and I hope you know, and I was going to tell you today, even though it happened already, that today was the end of the ceasefire between the US and Iran. And I was going to tell you that one of the biggest things that you had to focus on today was that we had a ceasefire ending today. But the headlines front runned me, and I posted this, when the announcement came out, which is that stocks tanked because, and you can see, no, I do not want to boost this post. Stocks tanked, as you can see. And this was when we had the New York session retrace, because a senior Iranian official said that Iran has decided to shift from defense to offense. So, I had been looking for headlines related to the U.S.-Iran ceasefire ending today, what they were going to say. I was hoping that I could, inform all of you that this was the number one thing that was to focus on today, but they front run me, came out with this announcement. Financial Juice should be your number one source for real-time information. And where was this? This happened right over here. This happened right over here. Senior Iranian officials, said they were shifting from defense to offense. You knew that this was not moving in a positive way. Lots of headlines from, although I can't say, these headlines from the U.S. were kind of mixed. Trump said, I'm in no hurry. And he says there's a back channel with IRGC. But it was really, but at the end of the day, it didn't really seem like things were really going that well. For those of you that have access already to our BK Traders Intel sheet, you'll know that first off, today stock futures are up a little bit, although they're kind of mixed. They're kind of falling right now. But the biggest news really is that, we have fresh shipping attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. So that and the UAE affiliate tanker was struck Friday night, raising new supply disruption fears as U.S.-Iranian conflicts and the memorandum of understanding continues to erode. So this is really the big deal here, which is that even overnight, even before this announcement, the war premium, the Strait of Hormuz attacks told you that that the relationship between the U.S. and Iran, the negotiations were not going well. This also talks about stocks, are trading heavy because Treasury yields were higher, and September rate hike bets, which we'll look at in a second, is still a problem. What has Trump said in the last 24 hours? This should have picked up on some of the Trump headlines. I'll have to look back at why it's not happening, but maybe it's just because he just spoke within the last hour. We are still kind of off the highs. NASDAQ is much closer to its all-time highs. ES is very close to its all-time highs. Gold, still kind of quote unquote room to rally. So, this is something that I like to look at as well. And I don't think, Fed speak, we don't really have any Fed speak recently. And there's no Fed speak on today's calendar. But regardless, the point that I want to make is, let's see if we get any response from the U.S. right now. Trump did threaten to bomb Oman if it gets in the way of the Hormuz talks, but I think this is before we had the comments from Iran. They're going on the offense. So I think, you can expect a headline from Trump, which is why, stock futures are kind of bouncing right now because we had a deep sell-off earlier. But I think the risk is to the downside. Keep an eye on oil because oil is going to tell us everything. If oil goes up to 1.5%, 2%, we're going to see a new lower in MNQ. Now, I told you that I like to look at the setup at the early New York open. So this is the early New York trade. All right. Sometimes you'll get a London session trade. I obviously don't trade the London session because I'm asleep. This is a London session trade, but we're above the 65, so I wouldn't necessarily take that. It's not the A plus trade. Asia is when we like this trade a lot, and we like this trade around 8 o'clock is when we start looking for the setup, and we're above the 65. So you start to look for it here. This is when we get the cross, 8 crossing above 21, get a little bit of a move lower. Then it drops back down and get the real, big move of the day happening. So maybe you would have squeezed some pippage off of here. Maybe you would have closed at break even. But this is the real move at around 10:30 p.m. New York time is when you get the real cross. This is the perfect A plus entry for boom, this beautiful move higher. So this is the setup that I traded this morning in the early New York session. There's a variation of that for gold that we use 15-minute charts for. I don't use the 65 for this. And so not much here. Gold is not as accurate as MNQ. You had a little bit of a cross up here. So it didn't work out, and then you had a cross down here, but this was before the data as well. Much more choppier trading. I don't really like it as much in gold. Okay, so taking a look back at the NASDAQ, you can see that we pulled back. We have plenty of room to fall, right? We still have higher highs, higher lows right now, but I think if we actually break below this line over here, which is Friday's low, then there's going to be much more room to the downside because we, first of all, completely negated this push up higher, this breakout of this prior resistance level. And that would, give us a much more stronger signal that we can have a bigger move lower. So that's the level that I'm watching, which is Friday's low in the NASDAQ. But equity futures, they're mixed. NASDAQ is still up. ES is down. YM is down. I think NASDAQ is going to end up turning lower anyway. Going to my moving average clearance, which is what I like to look at from, just kind of a longer term perspective. Once again, I think this is going to flame out. I think we're going to end up having probably a red day in the markets. In terms of the currencies, dollar itself is down across the board. Now, it was down earlier because U.S. yields were down. Now, U.S. yields are popping up a little bit, and you can see clearly on an intraday basis that we have moved up a little bit in the dollar. But for the most part, I think, CME Fed Fund Futures has shown us how much market expectations have changed. Basically, we've gone from we have the market pricing in a 67% chance of no change in Fed rates in September. This is a huge change from just a month ago when the market was looking at a 42% chance of no change and a 51% chance. I mean, I think 2 weeks ago, we're talking about how the market was, that a September rate hike was pretty much guaranteed. And U.S. inflation is very, very hot. But the U.S. inflation is very hot. The problem, though, is that jobs are weak. And then spending was weak. We had a horrible non-farm payrolls report. We had a horrible retail sales report. And it's going to be difficult for the Fed to raise interest rates in that type of climate. However, please remember, we have one more non-farm payrolls. We have one more retail sales report. We have one more inflation report before the September Fed meeting. So the Fed gets another piece of data. I think it's going to be a very close call. which means that the September rate decision is going to be a very volatile one. Because even if you get one, let's say we do get one strong non-farm payrolls report for the month of August reported in September. If we look at the data, let's look at the non-farm payrolls report. Where is this? The non-farm payrolls report from this day here. Even if you had one, let's imagine you had one jump over here, is enough to offset these 2 months of weakness. Let's say we get over here 100-something thousand. Not really. I mean, maybe if we get over here, which is very unlikely, but we're over here, the Fed still has to, really take serious consideration on whether a rate hike is warranted. Now, of course, inflation is very, very high, which is why, it's such a problem. But, if they reach a truce, if they reach another ceasefire and oil prices are back below $80 a barrel, it's less of a problem. So keep an eye out for that, because the point I want to make is that at this point, it's going to be very hard for a Warsh to justify a rate hike. And I know that many people are thinking that it's not happening, which is why, Euro has popped up above 116. ECB still has an 85% chance. The market is pricing in an 85% chance of a rate hike by the ECB this in September. So you've got the Fed dropping to 30, the ECB at 85. I think there's going to be much more room to the upside. 100-day SMA has already been broken in the Eurodollar. I don't think this 200 is as important. I think we got a break. We'll probably have a retrace, which is probably a nice buying opportunity for a leg back up to, at least to this region here. So I'm very bullish euros. I think euro is going to move higher. This is a big week for euro. We have ZOO. We have PMIs. The focus this week is going to be on ZOO and the PMIs. And I think euro is going to trade higher. Even though U.S. yields are up today, I think that, dollar is going to trade heavy. Dollar yen, you can see, is still kind of rolling over. The market is clearly disappointed that we haven't seen anything else from the Bank of Japan or the Ministry of Finance since the actual rate hike by since the actual intervention. I apologize for that. Intervention from the Ministry of Finance. So we haven't seen a rate hike. We've only seen intervention. The market's disappointed. And because U.S. yields is the thing that matters the most, I think dollar yen will continue to move lower. This week is a huge week for Canada. Aside from the inflation report that was just released, where's today? We just had the inflation report released. Going to go to Canada here. We just had the inflation report released. It was very strong. Remember, we had a very strong employment report. But there's one other thing that happens this week, which is that the U.S. is expected to slap Canada with tariffs. Canada, 50% tariffs. You can read about it yourself. But the U.S., Canada, they are aiming to avert the 50% tariff, but this is the day. Sorry, this is the week. This is when we have the tariff deadline. The tariff deadline, let's see, is August 19th on Wednesday. A new round of 50% tariffs on Canada is set to take in effect on August 19th. So that is the greatest risk for dollar CAD. We've got good Canadian jobs report, good Canadian inflation report, but yet, boom, dollar CAD is testing the 200-day SMA. And I think it's just going to hover there. I think it's going to have a very difficult time breaking through there until we hear what's going to happen with the tariffs. 50% tariffs is obviously very high, very bad. And so the market, I think, is going to grind around here until we get an outcome from the 50% tariffs. Now, back to the U.S. What do we have going on this week? And what do we have in terms of red envelope data, period? First of all, from the U.S., we don't have much except for the Fed minutes. The Fed minutes on Wednesday is very important. So we have the Iran-U.S. Headlines that you've got to pay attention to. Oil prices are still just up 0.5%. So the oil markets haven't fully moved on it. But, definitely pay attention because that's always something that is very significant. But the Fed minutes, how, the question with the Fed minutes is, how close is the Federal Reserve really to raising interest rates? How many members, are thinking about, some type of aggressive action? Remember, we had three Federal Reserve presidents, Hammock, Kashkari, and Logan, three of them that voted in favor of an immediate 25 basis point rate hike at the last Fed meeting. So, how close were they to convincing the other Fed members to do so? So while the jobs report and the retail sales report suggested that the Fed has moved further away from raising interest rates, the Fed meeting will be very, very important, because the Fed meeting here, you can see, the minutes from the Fed meeting could easily shoot this back up if we had a couple more members very, very close to raising interest rates. So the Fed minutes on Wednesday is going to be very important, because three members did vote in favor of a immediate interest rate hike. Aside from that, not much. We've got the Philly Fed Index. Empire State was good. This is a huge jump in the Empire State Index. Manufacturing activity has been doing much better than services. So a Philly Fed is interesting. Jobless claims popped up last week. That's also interesting. Flash PMIs are interesting, but tend to be less market moving. But in general, though, the Fed minutes is the only red envelope event for the US this week. Other things that will happen, let's pop all of these on. We've got, other red envelope. We have a lot of data from the UK. And basically, with the data from the UK, we've got UK jobs report. We've got UK retail sales report. And we have Eurozone and UK PMIs. So, claimant count numbers are expected from the UK. ZOO is expected from the Eurozone. We've got UK inflation data. So UK and Aussie. Aussie's got Australian jobs numbers. All of that will be on the move, and the PMIs will be very important. Eurozone PMIs, UK PMIs, Canadian retail sales data, all of that is going to be very, very important. So we look back at pounds. For those of you that are trading pounds, you will see pounds popped up. Market is looking for good numbers. Maybe we'll retest these highs over here. Aussie last jobs report was very strong. Aussie trading above all of the moving averages. PMI numbers have been quite good as well. So we could see, further strength. All of this, though, still has to do with US dollar weakening. So we'll have to see whether or not these US yields pop up will last. So going back to the markets that you guys may be interested in, gold. First of all, how many of you are trading gold here? Anyone trading gold? So gold, you can see, is stuck between the 100 and the 200 SMA. Now, with U.S. yields, U.S. data weaker, U.S. yields falling, the path of least resistance for gold really should be higher. And I still think that the path of least resistance for gold is going to be higher. The 200 is important, but I think, we also have, I think there's going to be a trend line. Right, a trend line is much higher. So I'm less worried about this, but I think gold is going to move higher on a kind of longer term basis. On the 4-hour charts in gold, we also see we're above all of the major moving averages in gold, still bullish. 1-hour charts rolling over a little bit, but I think that gold is still going to move upwards. I'm bullish gold this week. We'll have to see how the Fed minutes fare. That could change things a little bit, but I think that rate cut bets have moved lower for the right reasons. And I think that we had this breakout in gold. I think, gold is a buy and dips, in my opinion. I still like it very much to the upside, but use your indicators, with gold. As I said, I like to look at my 821s right now, 821 to cross to the downside. I would wait for a cross to the upside for it to move back above both 821s to go long on gold. But ultimately, fundamentally, I am bullish gold. Gold also works with the zip, and you can see we're still in the zip buy zone in gold. We're above the indicator line. We had a previous zip buy signal. So I still, in moving averages, we still have more. We have greens on the longer term scales. So I still very much like gold to the upside. A couple of things that I want to share with you. Any questions, any charts that you want to look at? Make sure that you sign up to get access to our BK Intel sheet. It's completely free. It gives you real-time updates on what's going on in the markets. We also have two huge announcements from our partners this week or this morning. The first one is from Ola Prime. Ola Prime launched a brand new product which allows our CFD traders, for those of you trading gold, trading Forex, you can get funded in 1 day on Forex CFD challenges. One step, massive leverage. You know, you all know that leverage comes with risk, but massive leverage. And I'll show you exactly what this is. So normally, their one-step program, 50K, is 50 times lever. With their one-step boost, which is just slightly more expensive, use code EDGE for 20% off. You get 500 times leverage. And it is this lever that allows you to get funded in 1 day. So be careful with that. But for those of you who feel confident in your strategy, it is something that allows you to get funded. Let's just see quickly if this 500 to 1 is also true on the live account. Let's go.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to drop back down to from 500 to 50. Let's see where they have this. Phase 1. I think it's going to drop down to 50 once you reach the funded stage. But anyway, I'll post that later on. I don't see this clearly there. But when you are in challenge, it's, 1 day to pass. I think, very few firms on the Forex space, CFD space, offer a 1 day pass with as good terms. So check it out. Use code EDGE. The details are on my X. Now, the other huge announcement for those of you that are futures traders is that our other partner, Take Profit Trader, just go to Prop Trader Edge. I posted it this morning. Take Profit Trader. They are offering their biggest discount ever. Normally or previously, they're 40% off. Now they're 50% off only for this week. And they've dropped their minimum days from 5 days to 3 days. So they're combining their biggest discount with the shortest minimum trading days they've ever offered. And Take Profit Trader, people love them because it's 1 day to pass. They have very transparent rules. 50% off this week only. Make sure you use code EDGE for both Ola Prime as well as Take Profit Trader to take advantage of these great deals. If you buy a Ola Prime or Take Profit Trader account using our code EDGE and you send us your receipt, we will give you some freebies, including the some different things that we have offered. So definitely send it to us, and we've got the SMA tool that you can have access to that will just basically show you what the trends are. And lots of, great stuff from us. So, definitely use code EDGE because that definitely tells our sponsor that you're watching us and, they can continue sponsoring us. In terms of how Zip works, usually I trade Zip in Forex. And, we don't necessarily trade on Sunday, Monday, but the way it works is that if you get a, you can see that we don't really have any valid Zip setups, but if you get a white candle in the green background, it's a buy signal, but you want to make sure it happens either at the Asia Open or the New York Open. If you get a red candle with a red background, that's a sell signal. We definitely use timing as a qualifier, and we also use our SMA meter as a qualifier as well. Any other questions? Any other charts that you want me to look at? So, once again, to recap, the things that you want to be watching for is you want to be watching for the headlines, the comeback from President Trump after Iran's comments. You want to be watching the Fed minutes. Those are the two main things. And then in terms of ZIP, one of the trades that we took that I really like is we really like trading ZIP on the Euro crosses. And so this is a trade that we took towards the end of last week. Triple ZIP sell signals in Euro Aussie, and boom, beautiful move lower. Any other questions? All right. So if not, definitely check out our sponsors. If you're interested in trading futures, take Profit Trader, 50% off. If you're interested in trading, if you're interested in trading Forex CFDs, regardless of whether you want the 500 times lever or not, check out the offer from Ola Prime.
As far as Ola Prime, guys, I'll put the link in again, as I did today in the London session. The tool that I made for you that is completely free for anybody who signs up for an Ola Prime account, or if you already have an Ola Prime account, is going to be excellent for this particular function. Because remember, the tool that I made for you not only does automatic stop, buy, entry, and everything else, but it does automatic scale out. In other words, imagine you have
of course, for the people who have no idea, who are just joining for this session and not the earlier session,
I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them the link. I'm going to show them the link in just 1 second. Yeah.
Can you show the screenshot of the screen?
I have to share my chart. Which after Kathy gets up, I'm going to share my chart, and I'm going to show you the link to the whole thing. But the link itself basically tells you. Here we go. Hang on a second. Let me. I can't share my chart because Kathy is on the screen. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Maybe I could in this view. Let me see if I could share my chart. Hang on. Just hang with me a second. I wonder if this is possible now.
Go ahead and share it.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I might be able to. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. I didn't know if I could do it in this configuration. So this is the link to how to download the tool. It's fully automatic. Like if you have an Ola Prime account, or if you just bought an Ola Prime account, you just take a screenshot of your purchase, and it will completely authenticate you and give you access to the tool. And then
but you have to use the code EDGE to purchase it.
Correct. Make sure you use the code EDGE. Absolutely. Make sure you can use the code EDGE, and then you simply purchase the product, and then it gives you the full explanation of everything it does, including the latest version that I put in here, which does automatic exit. Let me give you an example. This morning we bought gold with a $4 target, and we put in this automatic exit. So every time it rose by $1, it exited 25% of the position. So at $1, we exited 25% of the position. At $2, another 25%, so plus 50, $3 4. And we did this completely automatically. I was like yapping about NASDAQ. Like, I don't even know. I think I went to get a cup of coffee. I had no idea what was going on. We went back to the chart, and the whole thing was out in profit without me doing a single thing. That is only possible if you're trading CFDs because of MT5 and because the ability for me to program all of this for you. So if you're at all interested in diversifying into CFD trading, or if you're already trading CFDs, this is an amazing tool. It essentially makes your trading so much easier, and it protects your profits. So if you're looking at this 1 day pass with high risk, you can take, combine our turn of the day indicator trade along with this particular tool, and see, if you could actually get funded in 1 day, or even if you want to do it in multiple times. The point is that the tool itself is going to be very, very useful for you. It's totally free. It's all it requires is an Ola Prime challenge. So go out there, go get it. As I say to you, it's fully for your taking. I put the link in again.
All right.
Let me put the link in again so you guys have it. And remember, you don't need to do anything except literally go to this webpage, and it will automatically give you the download. You don't need to email me, talk to me, or do anything. It's fully automated for you, as long as you are an Ola Prime CFD trader at this point. CFD prop trader. Sorry, you were saying
all right.
something?
I'm going to bid all of you adieu. Have a great trading session with Boris, and I will see you in the markets.
All right. Great. Thanks, Kay. Thank you so much. Bye, Kay. All right. So I'm going to switch views here. I'm going to take Kay off here. I'm going to switch views here to see if we can get the proper view. Let me see if this is going to work. Yeah. Hang on, guys. cool. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, so good. We are in the right view. Let me get rid of this. All right, good morning. So Mark, what are you asking me? I was thinking, how fast does it adapt to change? For example, I was risk more of a setup. Are you talking to me or are you talking to Kathy? And I'm not sure about. Okay. Anyways, ask your question again when you have a moment. Today, guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. We're trading for, of course, our OG friends, Apex. And specifically, I got to tell you why this. You're talking about the tool I made. It's not that it adjusts. It's preset. It's not like, it doesn't trade for you. It's preset to how you want to set it up. Yeah, Kathy was on regular time as always. Yes, correct, Ben. You missed it. Don't worry, you can watch it on replay. It's preset to like whatever portion you want. You want to sell a third of it, you want to sell a half of it, you want to sell a quarter of it. It's automatically presets to sell for you. So it knows if the price moves a quarter into your favor, sell some of it, keep the rest. You can choose to go to break even, or you can choose to hold the original stop, whatever you want. You'll see the page that I gave you. It has full explanations of everything. That's why I created the page. Try it. Have fun with it. At very minimum, it's going to make your trading very easy because it's going to put the stop and a target right away as a wraparound. It will. You can do trailing stops in there. You can do a million different things in there that I don't even do. That I put in there as a pure functionality. Basically, what I did was I asked AI, what is the most requested trading tool features that every MT5 trader has, and then I put in literally every single one of those features into this tool. Okay, so it's really, really useful. And as I said, it's totally free. So go knock yourselves out. But if you're trading Futes, I want to talk to you about my friends at Apex today, because Apex is really the OG of the kind of strategy that is the only way all of you are going to have a chance of winning. I talked about this in London. I read this very, very interesting article over the weekend. I invite you guys to read it. Let me give you the link. It's a very long article, but it's literally the most interesting article I've read in terms of betting, trading, and how mathematics really, how odds really work. I'm sorry, let me get the and I'm not gonna bore you with the full math of it, but it explains why so much of what you listen to from the gurus never actually works in real life. Even if the guru is not lying, which is like only 5% of the time anyways, if the guru is not lying, even if he's telling the truth, all his advice still doesn't work for you. And it explains it why. And the reason is this: if I gave you a bet that said you could win 50%, like every time you made a flip, you'd win 50% that went your way, and every time you made a flip that went against you. So let's say heads, you win 50%, tails, you lose 40% of your account, right? The expectancy, the actual expectancy, we have I'm looking to see, I might have a little bit of a scalp here. So I'm gonna trade along with yapping today. So we'll go both ways. I have what's called a contra trend trade, a very light pink sell signal followed by a contra signal over here. If this holds, even it turns into a diamond, which is even better for us. Let's see if we can take this trade. Which account am I in? 85. Ooh, it's really popping. Oh, it's 5 minutes before the open. All right, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna trade small here into this account. Actually, join bid. All right, I'm in 85. Let's see if we can scalp this out. The basically a sell signal that's getting contra indicated by a buy arrow. And I'm just going to take a quick positive scalp on this because we're right in front of the news, right in front of the open. I don't want to take any more than I need to. And this is the reason why I do it, because it's very, very jumpy right here. Anyways, the point is, if I said to you, heads 50% you get, tails 40% you get. If you do the calculation, it's a positive expectancy trade of 5%. So if you assume I'm going to roll my dice endlessly, I'm going to roll my trades endlessly, I'm going to have a 5% positive expectancy, and yet 95% of you would lose money. And the reason why, and this is really, really fascinating, is because that expectancy number that everybody calculates is actually the gross average of every possible path that anybody ever takes. So take 1 million traders, and if you average out the 1 million traders' results, yes, the net result is going to be 1.05%. However, and this is the killer insight that nobody ever tells you. Nobody ever tells you, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you this, both in prop land and YouTube guru land. The killer insight is this: only 5% of those million traders are actually responsible for 70% of all gross profits, which tilt the whole average into 1.05. Basically, and to understand this intuitively, right? Imagine the following scenario. You're trading, flip of a coin, and we all know that a flip of a coin, you can easily go 4 negative flips in a row. Let's say it's a 50-50 bet. On a 50-50 bet, 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is basically about 2% of the time you can hit 4 negative bets. 4 negative bets, right? It's very common. That's 1 out of 50 traders going to hit 4 negative bets in a row. 4 negative bets in a row in this particular offer that you're given is you start with $100, you lose 40, then you lose another 40% of 40, then you lose another 40% of that, and you lose another 40. Basically, you're left with like $12. Your chance of coming back to break even, much less making money, is pretty much zero from that point on. If you start on a bad path, you are fucked beyond belief, and 90% of you will be in that situation, or 90% of you will eventually get into that situation with any one account. And the tricky aspect of that, and again, read the math if you're math inclined, and if you're not, the explanation is kind of very simple, is when you're calculating the variance in a very, very positive game, what everybody conflates, where everybody makes the mistake, is that they're adding their odds when in fact the odds are multiplicative, right? That means it gets worse, much worse exponentially when you hit a bad streak, than just simply 2 negative trades when you add them, they're not so bad. But 2 negative trades when they're multiplied because of the percentage factor, they're horrible. And so that is why everybody gets fucked in this business. That's why it doesn't matter if you have an 80% setup. Most of you are going to blow the account. This in the best case scenario, most of you are going to blow the account for the same reason that I blow the account and everybody else blows the account, which is you're not even going to be so good as to stick to your setup. You're going to hit 2 negative trades in a row, which is going to happen like 1 out of 7 trades you take, right? You're going to take 2 in a highly positive setup, 75% win setup. It's going to happen to you like twice a day. You can double check it, especially if you do like 20-30 trades, right? You're going to get pissed. You're going to ignore the setup. You're going to go larger, which is like the exact opposite of what the formula is telling you. The formula is telling you if you go larger, your risk of ruin is guaranteed, right? And you're pretty much going to blow the account. And that's exactly what the prop firms are all counting on. So the defense against that is something that we've been doing intuitively, that this math proves conclusively, which is this: there's only 2 ways you can win over the long run trading prop. And both of them have to happen, not one or the other. It has to be one and the other in order to give you a chance. One is you have to trade small. And how small is up to you, but I'm literally trading 1 MNQ. I mean, you probably could trade 2 MNQ. You could size it, for risk of ruin with Claude if you want to, but I'm just basically taking I don't trade more than 2 MNQs on any given trade I take that you're going to see me, because I do a lot. The whole point is the more trades you take, that's another thing, is if you're going to take 30 trades, you trade less. If you're going to trade 3 trades, you could trade more. It's the frequency of trade that fucks you. The more frequent you are, the more after you're going to be with size. It's the exact opposite of how you think, right? The more frequent you are, the smaller you got to be. That's just the pure mathematics of it, because you're going to hit more losses. But the second thing, and this is the key thing that we've been doing, that I've been preaching forever, that is incontrovertibly proven in this paper. The only free lunch you have, the only way you can beat the odds against the market and the house, is diversification. So what we've been doing, what I've been preaching every time, is I make a trade, I move to the next account. I make a trade, I move to the next account. There's 2 ways you can diversify. You can diversify by product, so you can trade gold and NQ, and I don't even know, and FX and whatever. You can't really trade anything. There's only like 2 or 3 products that we all trade, and they're all the same product, right? The only difference is maybe gold is a little different from NQ, but not even that much. They're all literally the same product. So there's zero diversification in product. But there is enormous amount of diversification in terms of account. Like, you make a trade in one account, it's a losing trade. You go to the next one, it's a losing trade. You've only hit a tiny, tiny loss per account. But if you stay in that one account and you keep hitting 5, 6, 7, 8 losing trades, that account is dead. That account is as dead as, I don't know, a New York City pigeon when it gets run over by a taxi cab. So the point being is, the easiest way for you to lose money is to trade one single account continuously, especially in a high frequency structure like scalps. And the easiest way for you to preserve accounts and to actually win over the long run is to trade 10 of them. Which brings me back to my friends at Apex, which is why I wanted to talk about this today, because there's only one prop firm that is so goddamn cheap that you could buy 10 accounts. You can literally buy 10 accounts for like $100, and the numbers. Now, they offer a whole bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, the legacy accounts are gone, but their accounts, the 5-pack accounts, are amazing. So if you buy the 50K 5-pack accounts, it's $100. Now you have 5 accounts. Now you can rotate just on a 5-account basis between each account over and over again, and you're good to go, right? If you're funded, like I am, the more funded accounts you have, the easier it becomes. So, I have I don't even know, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Tradingview, and something like 5 on wealth charts. We're going to trade wealth charts today too, by the way. So I have 13 funded. 15 funded would be great. But, between 5 and 10 funded is where you want to be as far as a sweet spot of rotating accounts. Okay? And this is what makes the difference between winning and losing. The strategy is great. We have a great strategy, blah, blah, blah. It wins 80% of the time. It doesn't fucking matter. It will bury you as just longer. It will just take longer to bury you because of the nature of how risk is distributed. Your only defense against risk, which is why the prop firms notice, they love this. They want you to, to buy one account and just bury it at a time, or better yet, they want you to buy 5 accounts and trade copy them, which is the same thing as burying one account 5 times. It's like taking a bullet and putting all 5 in a chamber and having all 5 in a chamber blow your brains out at once. It's the same thing. It's the beauty. That's why the actual defense against this is trade rotate, not trade copy. Multiple accounts, but trade rotate, not trade copy. So anyways, I thought it was fascinating. I'll leave it up to you. You do whatever the fuck you want, of course, as always. I just want to give you the best advice that I can find on the net, because, I am the anti-guru. I try to tell you what's real, not what's bullshit. And we'll keep trading. We'll keep trading the setup, because the setup has actually been great for us. But we're going to do it in this particular fashion, which is diversified per account, small size, right? And if I deviate from that, I'll tell you, and I guarantee you, I will blow my accounts if I do that. So as I'm speaking, as I'm yapping right now, we really don't have much of a setup. I took a quick scalp over here just before the market opened. Sorry, wait a minute. Actually, I think my hang on a second. My New York City, my New York numbers are off. I gotta reset. Hang on a second. It should be 12s, right? We're starting at 12. Yeah, let me see if I'm correct. Yeah. Sorry, my New York. I just had to adjust for UTC. New York high is 65, low 185. It's not even a trade. It's a joke. Today the whole day is a joke. It's a super low volatility, low range day. We just do the best we can within the structure. There is a trade here to be made, which is a little bit too far away for me to even want to play at this point, which is we do have basically a bounce off New York City lows. So if I was, I'll be long here with a stop over here, and I guess a target somewhere around the VWAP. But since I'm a little bit late to the trade, and in these kind of situations, just being 5 points above where you need to be is already going to lose your edge. Not worth taking the trade right now. We'll stay calm. We'll see if they want to run the New York highs. We'll see if there's any scalps to be done. For right now, it's just kind of quiet market, so I'll hang tight. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. I mean, let me know if you agree with me, if you think this is interesting. Read the article. I think it's fascinating. The math doesn't lie. I mean, it really opened up my eyes to understanding why, even when you do everything right, you get blown out. And it's not glamorous, it's not like, like I had this conversation with somebody the other day. We're in the room and I'm like, you got to trade small. She goes, oh yeah, but it's going to take me forever to get funded. I'm like, okay, your choice is to never get funded. And the analogy I used in London today, which is a really good analogy, is, everybody knows those guys who scratch lotto every day, right? And they scratch lotto for like 10 years. They spend maybe $25,000 of their earned income in lottery tickets. And then one day they win lottery for like $150, right? Or $200, or maybe even $500. They get lucky and they scratch that $500 ticket, right? And they're like, wow, I'm a lottery winner, right? That is exactly the same guy who spends $25,000 in prop firm challenges and gets one payout for $1,000. That's fine, as long as if you're doing it for a game and for fun. If you just want to beat it like in the carnival, that's fine. But then understand that's what you're doing. You're just you're no different from the guy at the lottery ticket who's just scratching tickets, but you're just doing it in a different fashion. But if you want to trade with a reasonable edge against the house, you got to go the other way. You can't try to win every single scratch off. You have to be patient and work an account for a month, sometimes 2, maybe even 3, before you can even get that $1,000 payout. But then your rate of return to your funding fees is going to be much better. Okay, those are the two choices you face. That's why I was talking about the fact that there's all these YouTube gurus who flash how much money they get paid out, right? And I was always very suspicious. I was like, how is it possible they're getting paid out $1 million? It's so goddamn hard to just get paid out $1,000, given how difficult the market is, how sizing works against you, how all the the moment you're wrong, you get stopped out and margined out on your accounts. How is any of this possible, right? And then a few of them are now in litigation with the prop firms. So all of their dirty secrets are out in litigation in the lawsuits. And you read stuff like they pay $300,000 or $350,000 in evaluation fees to get $125,000 in payouts. Which is, what is that? That's the exact same thing as the lottery. The prop firms are super happy to have some idiot go, oh, I got paid $100,000 without him disclosing that he paid the prop firm $350,000 in eval fees. That's exactly what the lottery is built upon. It's built upon the idea of giving you tiny little reward for massive amount of capture of income, right? So, take everything with a grain of salt here, but understand how the game is played. As far as payout goes, I mean, the game has a huge amount of other benefits that we all love. It's the idea to participate in the market. It's the idea of trying to understand how financial markets work. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into prop that is ancillary and beyond the mere payout aspect of it, that gives you much richer and deeper value. But, if you're just trying to figure out how this game is played, never mind just, how won, but how the game is played, then play the game at least with the math that works. That's all I kind of want to say to you. I thought I was just about ready to pull the trigger on this turn candle, but didn't quite make the volatility move for us. So we're still sort of floating around. On product side, for everybody who's in the room with me, and we're all trading the BK Dots Lifetime indicator, it's been completely revamped. And those of you who want to sign up for the subscription services, hopefully within a day or two, I'm going to be able to update it for the subscription services, and then I'll let you know exactly, and I'll give you the links. But it's been revamped to do a few things to fully unleash all of its power and make it as simple as possible for you to use it. Because the first thing that we did is we created choose your view menus. So that means that without having to try to configure every single little button on this very, very powerful but complex indicator, you can just choose to say, I want a day trade. I want a day trading view, and I just want both the scalping and the sessions level view. And all you got to do is you choose these things, hey, okay, and the whole view is going to be perfectly aligned to what you want to do. Or maybe you want to trade, maybe you want to trade strategy views, and within strategy views, you want to trade in the strategy views, you want to trade, let's say, new trend strategy. Strategy views, what do you want? You want to trade new trend? You choose that, and it shows you the new trend strategy. It shows you the full P&L table. It allows you to configure and test what configurations you want in the P&L table and all that kind of stuff. So there's a huge amount of flexibility now, all at a click of a button, right? Now for day trading, and what we do in the room here, we just do nothing but scalping. So I'm going to go in the day trading view, and if day trading, I'm going to look at both. I'm going to click that, and it's going to switch to what do we want, which is session levels and triangles. And the moment we get those, we're going to start trading those. So so enjoy it, guys. Any questions, let me know. I fixed the one little bug that we had. I don't know if Tim is in the room today. Maybe I think Tim is probably out. He was with me in London. He caught this one little bug. So the latest version is 1.10.6. I sent out to everybody the PDF, the glossary, all of the supporting documentation, and I'll be making videos today, which I will be sending to everybody. And the videos, by the way, are free. Now, for those of you guys, yes, there's a bug in 10.5, Miguel. Update to 10.6. There's just a tiny little bug. So we fixed it. So the latest version is 10. The one you should be working on is 10.6, right? 10.6 is the one you want to be working on. Just delete the 10.5, reattach it, and it should be 10.6. Okay, Miguel? So the other thing I was going to say is I also have the free dots giveaway. So if if you're new in the room here and you're hanging out with us and you want to know what the fuck is this thing that we're trading, I send you the link right now in chat, and you can download the whole dots explanation PDF. It's updated, to all the latest scalp structures and everything else, and you can read all about it, and you can have access to it totally free. So that link is literally right in the link right now. So the free dots giveaway is right then and there. And we're just watching Tokyo lows, London lows, New York lows, all getting crushed a little bit. Feels like they want to run maybe I don't even know if they really want to run the 100, but they're consolidating. We'll see. Let's let the market tell us what it wants to do. For now, it's probing the lows, and we don't have any signals for any type of a support structure. So I will watch for more stuff. But what we're doing is we're going to trade and rotate. Trade small and rotate. That's the game plan, and we're going to do this across. The only exception to the rule I may make is the pre-funded accounts, the eval accounts, where you might want to go faster. But on the funded accounts, especially, your only defense against losing all your money, like that's a guarantee. You're going to lose your money. Remember, the prop firm is making a bet that you're going to lose your money. Okay, that's what they're in the business for, right? And that's fine. That's like, that's what casinos make a bet for. And if you want to be smart and learn how to trade, you trade small and you rotate. That's not a guarantee of winning, but it's a guarantee of the other way is a guarantee of losing. Like I don't know even how to phrase that in English, but the other way is a guarantee of losing almost always, unless you get lucky. You can either get lucky or lose, or you can be skillful and try to win. I guess that's the choices that I want to show you. You can be skillful and try to win, or you can be lucky and pretty much lose. That's the matrix of life that we all look at. Holding London lows over here. Good morning. Who's new in the room here, guys? Come on, come say hi to me. We're just starting the Monday session. I feel like half the world is on vacation. It feels like very low volume, both in the room and in the market. So everybody's just chilling. But if you are new, say hi. We'd love to have you. This is a good time to hang out. Hey, Yuri. Yeah. Another Ruski with me. Where are you from, Yuri? Which part of Mother Russia are you from? So, as I said, everybody who's new, you feel free to download the free DOTS giveaway, which is right here. I put the link in right now. And everybody who is, I wish I had I need the hotkey for this. And everybody who wants the CFD product, go ahead, please download the all the product right here. Be my guests. I'm just chilling. I'm just waiting to see if I have any signals. London low, New York low, kind of holding. Okay. Thank you, Vern. Thank you. No, it's the book only. The indicator is available for subscription, but my only caveat right now is that the subscription, the version that's available for subscription is a little bit outdated. So if you give me a couple of days, I'll tell you when to go buy it, because I'm gonna update the indicator. Mongolia, holy shit! You used to live in Chicago for 25. Chicago is a great town. So, are you originally from Russia? You must be from Russia. Yuri Matrinovsky is not a American-born name. I can tell you that. So we turned without giving us a signal, which happens. That's fine. And the reason why is because it's kind of a very, very slow market day. So there's no, what we're looking for is kind of a volatility breakout where the buyers break the volatility to the upside. It's actually interesting. It's not so, it's not as quiet as it appears. ATR is 25. I mean, that's generally lower than what it is at the New York Open, but it's not like dead. I mean, we were at 4 or 5. So ATR at 25, it just means the candles aren't really, there's not a lot of conviction here on any individual candle to give us a breakout signal. So we just chill, we stay patient. Yeah, it's coming up to VWAP and it's giving me a sell scalp signal. So for sure, I just want to, which account am I in? Which account do I want to be in? I want to go to the 86 account. Oops, let me see, 86. Just want to rotate myself out. And I have a scalp sell signal. Let's see if this holds. So we have a neon scalp, which is, bearish tape against the VWAP, rising big ass time. Wow, interesting. So this should be a really interesting scalp trade. Price action is doing one thing. The signal is telling us completely the other thing with confidence. So let's see who's going to fight on this. We're breaking above the VWAP. I'm just waiting for this thing to close on the candle. Then I'm gonna short this. I'm gonna see if I can get this out here. All right, I'm in the trade on the short side. 8 target against 20 stop. Let's see this. I mean, this looks very, very bullish. So I sold based upon signal, not upon price structure. And I may eat this, but that's fine. I'm trying to trade the signal and not get too cute. But it's clear that the price action was super bullish here, right? But let's see if the signal gives us some hope. Yeah, and look at this. Never doubt the signal, bitches. Never doubt the signal. The signal makes it. We get the scalp back, despite the fact that it looks so fucking bullish that it looked like it was going to go to the moon. Doesn't matter. Sold actually the high, nice clean reversal, and took that thing down. Great. Okay, so first scalp done. Now, honestly, guys, what I really want to do now is, because we have just not been trading wealth charts for so long. Oops, hang on a second, guys. I want to see. Oh, great. Great news. I just got news from Sam at Ola. Sam at Ola is going to join us Wednesday. You guys know how much I love trading with him, because he brings in a whole new perspective to our trading, and it's going to be super, super interesting to trade his volume delta along with our ATR breakout signals. I'm just going to see, especially on the turn, on the turn side, how the two complement each other. So I'm very excited about that. I'll create the card and I'll post everything on Wednesday, but definitely come on Wednesday. Sam is going to trade with us. He just pinged me, so that's good to know. Okay, so let's subdivide the. Let me make sure I get this right. This is the only thing I hate about this. Oh, here we go. Finally learning how to do this. We're going to do a split view. I'm going to put the wealth charts into here, and I want to. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Let me just configure. Let me see. Are you guys seeing everything okay? I think I can go wider a little bit, or you guys have a little bit more room here. Let me see. Do I have wide? Yeah, look at this. I have a little bit of width. Okay, awesome. So I have some size on wealth charts. We can minimize Tradingview because we just need the signals on Tradingview, and now the canvas is going to be on wealth charts. Now you guys know I love wealth charts because it has like this little scalper built right into it. It's a super easy thing. Wealth charts obviously have a little bit of a different look and feel to them because the indicator here is a little bit different, but the general principles are all the same. Hang on, let me just figure out what I want. I know what I need. I just need to make sure, because if we're going to be, where is this thing? Sorry, guys. Oh, here it is. The simple brackets. I just need to create my brackets. So we're trading for the scalping. We're going to just take 32.80 as our structure, and that's wide enough right now that I can absorb it on a positional basis. What that means is basically eight target, 20 stop on the scalping, and then I'll widen it out if I need to for any positional trades. We don't have anything. New York high is over here, so if there's a positional trade here, we can always try it. And also I need to adjust the timing on wealth charts. Always the New York time here is always like an hour off, so we're going to go down to 12. Apply. Okay, so now we'll see the New York session highs, and we're properly engaged here. Okay, I guess we'll start with maybe we'll start with this account. That's fine. I'll start with this account. Oh, look at this. This account is actually pretty close. We're like only $600-700 to funding. That's good. That's, I mean, to payout. That's really good. Okay, so let's see what's going on over here. Honestly, you know what I'm going to do, guys, so that we don't get confused on the because this has old signals. Let's remove all the signals on this and just look at signals on TradingView. So I'm going to take out all the I'm going to buy this. Shit. Buy. Sorry. I'm buying this right now, and I'm gonna just reconfigure my things. So this is a classic scalp. We're long here, neon green, a high confidence scalp here, trying to get the 8 points on the move with trend, pretty close to New York highs. See if the market and see if the market wants to take me up. It's kind of like just challenging me. Very close. Very close. 39s. I'm gonna hit 39s. Oh, look at this. They put the flatten button. Oh, look how good this is. Fuck me. Look how good this is. They put the flatten button over here. This is so great. Anyways, that trade got done. So that got done on this. Let me just get rid of the triangles so we're not confused. Oh wow, they actually listened to me. Good for them. They took the flatten button right then and there. Nice. Fuck. Let me get rid of this. Neon triangles. I don't want the neon triangles. No confirms. Nothing. No triangles. Just clean structures. We're gonna ignore any signals. We're just gonna take all the signals from TradingView and just look at the candles on this, so that we're not distracted by the signals. So if those of you guys who are trading well charts, I'm actually going to save this view in my well charts so that it's a super clean view. Okay, anyways, let's rotate out. Big money on 61. Let's go to 63. That's the other great thing. Look how easy it is to rotate out of accounts on well charts. Well charts is by far a superior platform for trading. So if you can do what I do, which is you put your indicator on TradingView, but you trade through well charts. You'll probably be much better off. It's just so much easier. Everything is preset. You have this little applet right here, right in front of you that you can trade. It's all within one view. So those of you guys who are considering well charts, great platform, and you just simply do it, with 2-window view, and you're fine. And you just take everything else off the chart so it's nice and clean. Oh man, it's 10 o'clock already. Shit. Where did the time go? Oh man. No, Yuri, it's a TradingView indicator. I do have an MT5 trade tool, which I've been, which I made for everybody, that you could use to trade this. And the link is over here. The trade tool is totally free if you use our friends at Ola Prime. All you got to do is just simply take a prop account at Ola Prime, and you can trade it. And it's very, very good. And it has this is the page that shows you everything that it can do for you. But the indicator itself is a TradingView indicator. So that's sort of like, my takeaway from all this. Let me give you guys the Apex link. As always, our code gives you the best discount. The easiest, best thing to do is you buy the 5-pack, or if you're already deep in Apex funded, then just rotate them out. But the 5-pack is great to get yourself started. Get 3 or 4 of those funded, either on like, one and dones that we like to do, or just by trading like the way we do. And then you really can build a really interesting stream of possible profit on your prop accounts, one small trade at a time. Just you think of each one of your accounts as like an employee, imagine yourself, you own a fast food franchise, and obviously no single employee is going to make you money, but lots and lots of them working together is going to make you lots of money. And that's exactly what it is. Each account is kind of like a low-end employee to you. Man, I can't believe it's 10 o'clock already. I'm just waiting for one last trade to see if we can get it. But we actually managed to get a couple of trades done. It's been a very slow day. We did the same thing with London. We made about, I think, 4 out of 5 winning trades. In New York, it's maybe 2. But, it was a slow day. We're getting what's called a faint sell. It's a sell signal, but it's not neon green, which means it's not that the highest confidence signal, right? It's a medium confidence signal. But medium confidence is good enough if you want to take it. With 20 seconds left, I'll take it. If it reverses on me, if it gives me a green arrow, then this is what I do now. Then I'll take the other account. I'll take another account, and I'll take the contra trade in the other account. But for right now, let me just do this. Join ask. Let me see if I can get in there. Okay, am I in? Yeah, I'm in. I'm basically taking that faint short signal over here, the scalp signal, and let's see if that is out for us. And we're almost there, and we're done. Nice and clean. That was the trade. Let me show you the trade. Boom, boom. As you can see on wealth charts, super easy. Wealth charts is just it's time for us now that we got everything done. Now that I am done on the indicator. So the BK lifetime, the BK dots is fully done. It's fully functional. It makes trading super easy with these defined segment views, so that you can just pre-configure your chart and make it super easy. We're going to go back to doing a lot more of our wealth charts trading because of the trading environment that it creates for you. All right, guys, good session for a quiet Monday morning, right? Wednesday, FOMC minutes time, and Sam from Ola comes in, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I will see you guys tomorrow for London, like a hardcore 4 hours London, no bullshit, 2 and 2, and then we'll go from there. Hey, Bella, how are you? Bella, I am yelling at all of them, telling them that the only way to win in the prop game is to run multiple accounts, and it's got nothing to. It's just simply the matter of the markets, right? It's just simply a matter of math. I found this really interesting article that talked about that it doesn't matter if you have an 80% win strategy, you will burn yourself in one single account. And I was just telling him how great it is to get Apexes, because it's the only firm that lets you buy like 10 accounts for $100, or 5 accounts for $100. So your chance of success just multiplies exponentially without your wallet multiplying exponentially. So Bella is our friend at Apex. And by the way, I still have a lot of Apexes to give away. So tomorrow, I'm definitely going to do some giveaways with you guys for Apexes. But do me a favor. They are the OG for a reason. I love them. 99% of my accounts are with Apex right now. You guys know Wealth Charts accounts are all Apex. The Tradeovate accounts are all Apex. This is what we're trading. You want to be serious, go out there, go get some more Apexes right now. They are literally, if you're going to start in prop, that's where you start. So go nail it out there. I will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. No, it doesn't. No, Rick, because it's 2 separate accounts. It's two separate entries. Literally, and it's not something that happens. you're not entering the same trade at huge size in both opposite directions. They are completely reasonable when you're trading small size in, you know, two different signals, you know, that is like 1/1,000,000th of your total rate of return. Trust me, they could give a flying fuck about that. Okay, they're trying to flag cheaters. Okay, cheaters, not just people who are just generally trying to trade intelligently on the platform. I've never once had a problem with them, because, you know, I don't cheat. I don't sit there and spoof the accounts or do exactly what you're saying, which is just, you know, be huge on both sides of the market where there's no risk. You know, that's bullshit. There's always risk in every trade we take. So as long as there's risk, that's a legitimate trade. You know, so they're very cool about it. Okay, I will see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Take care. Bye-bye.